right now my dad is tedding the hay, so we kind of missed the main haying season. I broke my foot, and then our hay bind, which cuts the hay, broke down. I finally got a new hay bind. We cut this field and we got a tedder. Now the fun thing about the tedder is it just goes around and flings the cut grass everywhere, fluffs it up, spreads it around, lets it dry out really good, and then we can windrow it and bale it. So it's not going to be top quality hay, but we don't have quite enough in the barn yet to get us through the winter. So we're going to do this, and then we might go back up out to those first fields that we did in May and get another cut off of those as well. But with the tedder, it should shorten our process, because before it took us from cutting to baling 5 days. It should speed it up quite significantly. Sorry for the rattling around. I'm in the tractor myself. My foot's still not up to walking in the field, so I'm driving instead. But yeah, that's what a tedder is. It just spins around and flings the grass everywhere. And then the windrower gathers it all up in a nice, neat, tidy rows to be baled. Hello everyone. Nice to see you again, to be back at this, but a little update since my cast came off and I stopped with the crutches. Oh man, was my foot and ankle ever in agony. It was brutal. I couldn't believe it. So I went and booked an appointment with my doctor, orthopedic surgeon, the doctor that follows breaks and that sort of thing, and I got a pretty good scolding. She said I'm doing too much, and I said, well, I'm not doing anything. All I'm doing is walking to the barn, cleaning the doe's udders, putting the milk machine on, taking it off, cleaning their udders, and walking back up. And she said I was doing way too much in no uncertain terms, and said that if I didn't smarten up and stop, I was going to be seeing her for surgery in a couple months. So I took the next day and just rested and put my foot up and relaxed and didn't really do anything, and wouldn't you know it, the pain went away. So she told me at this stage, you know, if I can walk 100 feet without pain, that's a good thing. And she said I wouldn't expect you to get 100 feet yet, like seriously take it easy. And it was really frustrating. It was really hard being on the farm, being that winter's coming and there's fall prep and haying was happening. I also didn't tell her that I was haying the day before I saw her. Just didn't think that would go over well. It's just hard to hear that kind of news. She also said that I'll continue to feel some pain and swelling for a good 6 months, maybe even a little bit more. And it's hard news to hear. It's not news you want to hear. So I'm back to driving my trusty tractor here to get around the farm and doing what I can and listening to my body and stopping when my foot hurts. Dad wanted to putter around and pick these up today, but I'm the only one out here to help, and the clutch on that tractor requires my left foot, and it takes a lot of pressure to push that clutch, and it'd be a lot of start and stop for picking up those bales, so they're going to sit there for a while longer. They're not really good anyways. They've been rained on, and we've got rain coming for the next few days, but in the meantime, before they go moldy or go bad, we've been feeding a couple to the goats, a couple to the girls, a couple to the boys. But I wanted to come out here because the weather's so beautiful today and the sunshine, and finish up my video on the new haying equipment. So I will get right at that. So first I'll talk about this contraption. Looking around, I'm not even sure where Dad parked our old hay bind. That's the machine that cuts the grass. First step of haying. And well, now we got this one. And you would not believe how stupid expensive such a simple piece of equipment is. There's really nothing to it. So this is stood up right now. When it's in position, this part here is almost flush against the ground. You can see that's a little foot, so the blades are barely an inch or so above the ground. The same on this end, there's that little foot on this end. So it gives a very, very close shave to the grass. And you see there's like nothing to this, nothing to it. And the price of this and the tedder, which also has nothing to it, that's powered by just moving forward and the tines touching the ground, and moving forward spins the tines. Those two pieces of equipment together cost as much as that tractor there. Which is really, really ridiculous, honestly. But they're new pieces of equipment. They're going to last a long time. It should last, goodness, my lifetime for farming anyways. But yeah, that's our new cutter bar, and they were kind enough to give us an extra blade. These are very sharp. See serrated edges there, just extremely sharp blades. And that's what was used for this field here. Cut it really nice and close. So this is called a sickle mower. That's the first step in cutting. It's got this little thing here that's supposed to stick above the grass. You can see where the end is, but goodness gracious, our grass is so tall you couldn't see it. On the second step of cutting, especially with the sickle bar, because it lays it out in quite a large swath. It's not neat and tidy or anything, but we've always had trouble with our hay not drying very quickly. So that's what this thing comes in for. This is called a tedder. And when you're working it down in the field, this arm comes down. Same with that one, so it's nice and wide. And then as you drive, the momentum of driving spins these. It's not powered by anything else other than these being in contact with the ground and spinning as the tractor pulls it forward. But it works really good, and what this does is it takes the hay and it just flings it everywhere, and it fluffs it up and it spreads it out, and that's what dries the hay really good. It dries it very quickly. And then, where is it? I don't know where that is either, but we have a windrower afterwards that gathers all this spread out hay and gathers it into a nice line. And after that, the baler, which Dad is bringing up to park now, that old red thing, which is older than I am, which, I mean, that's saying something, that's old. That picks up that nice swath of hay on the ground that the windrower put in place and bales it. So that is the haying process. I believe this is a type of windrower. Pretty sure, but it's not the one we use. Oh yeah, our windrower's up by the house. That's right. But yeah, that's what's going on the farm. These are my wheels. I don't know, do you want to watch them bring in the hay bind and park it? I suppose we could. And of course, the last stage of haying is you hitch up to the hay wagon, load it up, and put it up in the barn, in the mow. So the top part of, with my finger, the top part of the barn up there, that's the mow. That would be the second floor of the barn. That's where hay goes. Just for anyone who isn't aware. Dad's got a tarp in the bucket there. We're going to tarp over the bale that's in the baler, because there's always one bale still left in there. It's just how it works. Hay goes in, it pushes the bales out the back. So there's always one that's still stuck in the gears there. There's a better look at the baler. So you can see there's a bale still stuck in there. That little wheelie-doo turns and pushes the bale out the back. And on the other side of that front part is where the spinny bits go and pick up. Here, let me get a closer look. It's the PTO, power takeoff. But yeah, these are the parts. This spins, picks up the hay, it comes up into here. That spins, shoves it all over to here. And this is a clunky toothed grabber, and it goes poof, 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 and pulls the hay in tight, packs it into your flakes. And yeah, it comes out through there. So as more hay is packed in, it pushes this bale out. And that's how it works. Now, for anyone that might be wondering why we're not so keen on getting all this hay in, why we're not overly concerned about it, our barn is full. The mow is stacked as high as it can go. The 1/3 of the ground floor of the barn is full of hay. South-facing run-in is full of hay. And if we should run short, we've got all these bales here we can tap into before haying season next year. They may look really rough right now, but honestly, once you take that outer layer on, it's still green and smells good. It's still good hay. Now this here, we just got way more hay than we were expecting to off of it. You can see it's like 10, 12 feet between each bale. There's just an absolute bumper crop of hay, and we've got nowhere left to put it. Now ideally I would have preferred to just brush hog it down and let it compost back into the field, but with this much on it, it would have been too thick of a layer and it would have like smothered the hay or the grass, so it wouldn't have grown back as nice. I love brush hogging the hay fields down. It kind of self-fertilizes, it improves the soil and improves your next year's crop, but like I said, there's just way too much of this here. You can see we already got in sections here, and even where I'm standing across here and up to the side, that was really nice hay. These rows that are angled this way was also nice hay, but you can see beyond that where the rows go across, that was not nice hay. It was all stalks. It was a lot like straw, so we weren't planning to bring that in anyways, except for, you know, a few bales to use for bedding. But then we had a big unexpected rainstorm come through and just absolutely soaked all of it. So our plans now is way up over there in that corner, right up against the Trans-Canada Highway. We've got like a boggy, marshy area that can't really use. Dad thought of putting these kind of along the edge of the wood, but I know that damp hay can, in situations, self-combust. That's why hay barns burn down. Improperly cured hay, not dry enough. Now these are so damp that probably wouldn't happen, but just in case, I want to stick them way up there in that marsh, that wet area, so they're not going to cause any problems. And they'll eventually compost down, and then, you know, they might work on filling in that marsh area, and we may eventually get usable land from it, which would be nice. Dad just mowed a section here and parked the baler. And we're ready to head back up to the house.